Go. Let's do this bad boy here. And I got you on for, well, it seems like you're mobile, so I got you on here for about 8 or 9 minutes. Okay, so that'll be right here. Well, 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities, and by the way, I'm Marky Bilson, was historic in the market by being the first radio station to air hockey games, and then, lo and behold, the state's hockey team goes and plays for the Stanley Cup. This year it's Stanley Cup or bust, and the Nashville Predators with a 3-2 victory, holding off a late Colorado Avalanche rally in Denver, now have a 3-1 series lead in the best-of-7 first-round playoff against the Colorado Avalanche. Talking to me about it is Alex Daugherty. He runs the website ontheforecheck.com, which is going so well. You're actually hiring other writers, I see, for ontheforecheck.com, because I remember when it was basically all you. But I guess the first thing I want to begin with is that I know the Predators dropped the first game in Denver, which was Game 3 overall in this best-of-7, and some people, it seemed, were then calling out Pekka Rinne. Admittedly, he didn't have a good game. He was removed and all this, but I wanted you to comment on this. Joe Rexrode in the Tennessean was quite critical. Where in the world could Nashville fans be so knee-jerk that they would want to replace a Vezina Trophy finalist because of a bad 20 minutes? What can you tell me about that sentiment here, Alex Daugherty of ontheforecheck.com?
Well, anyone that was saying anything like Pekka Rinne needs to be benched for Game 4 has not been watching this season, has not really been watching the playoffs over the last couple of years, and really probably doesn't know what they're talking about. Because, first of all, the Nashville Predators organization has a history of relying on their veteran talent and not overreacting to single game disappointments or even a couple game disappointments. So that's first of all. Secondly, yes, as you mentioned, Pekka Rinne is a Vezina Trophy, probably going to win it this year. He's definitely a finalist. We already know that. And on top of that, I don't think he played that poorly on Monday night. You can look at the numbers all you want. One of those is a 5-on-3 goal. Two of those are complete breakdowns by the defense in front of him. He saved huge moments in those games on Monday and then on Saturday as well. It really has nothing to do with Pekka Rinne's performance. I think he's been fantastic. And I think you saw last night, he was back to his old self. I think really, once you look at it, last night's game, he really only gave up one good goal because that second goal should definitely not have counted based on the letter of the law, but that's neither here nor there. So I think Pekka Rinne is absolutely fine. He will start until he physically cannot play anymore. There's no reason to worry about Pekka Rinne's performance because he's been fine.
I mean, he's 35 years old, and I'm not convinced that he won't be the goaltender for the Predators for 5 more years. A lot has to be worked out with contracts and such, but I mean, he's that kind of a player. I mean, I'm stunned, and I thought it was a good point you made right there, Alex Daugherty. Playoffs bring out a lot of Johnny-come-latelys and who's this guy, that sort of thing. And maybe they're even learning the talents of Philip Forsberg. That first goal that he scored was a thing of beauty. He's been, tremendous, although I do think certainly in Game 3, Norm Macdonald was the equal with those 2 goals and such. But Philip Forsberg, how is this guy seemingly not in the forefront so many times when we talk about the stars of the Predators, in my opinion? Is it because, he isn't dating, or he isn't married to Carrie Underwood, that he isn't a 300 victory goalkeeper or goaltender? Tell me a little bit this, because do you feel the same way that Forsberg is actually underappreciated?
I think in Predators, if you're talking about the Predators fan base, he is not underappreciated. He's probably secretly one of the fan favorites in the building, probably close to PK Subban, Pekka Rinne. And the other thing is this: he's only 23. I mean, he's just he's so young in his career that he doesn't have a lot under his belt in terms of the fan base. But I'll tell you what, it's getting there quickly because the 2 goals that he's scored so far have been dynamic, incredible highlight reel plays. I mean, go to any non-hockey sports websites, you'll see those plays. That says something. And he also now leads this. I think this is pretty telling. He leads the Predators all time in franchise playoff points. He has 30 franchise playoff points, passing players like Shea Weber, David Legwand, Roman Josi. So he's obviously one of the best performers in the playoffs that the Predators have ever had. He's signed for 4 more years after this one. He's a dynamic young talent, and he's just a really nice guy. He's a really lovable kind of guy that similar to Pecorine is just someone that no Predator fan could ever really complain about.
Well, I was looking more towards the NHL fan in general, and maybe, Nashville not being a traditional hockey market, although I think it's getting there, it is a reason for him being overlooked a bit. And plus, maybe he isn't as charismatic as a PK Subban or something. But the other note, and I guess I'll get to PK Subban, in the 5-3 loss in Game 3, we saw towards the end, Subban punching Norm Macdonald, who had put the Avalanche on his back, and it looked like maybe, changing the course of the series. How big was that physical conduct on Macdonald, do you think, in maybe turning the series around and getting it from so that the Predators could win last night and take a 3-1 lead?
I think you're talking about the hit on Landeskog, maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me there.
Landeskog. Actually, PK Subban has had an interesting series. I think his first game, he was not very good. The Predators still came out on top, but he really kind of struggled. And it's odd because his pairing has not been going up against Nathan McKinnon and Gabe Landeskog. He's been going up against the second line. But the last 3 games, you've seen his physical game come up, obviously, in that play you're talking about, but he's been fantastic in the puck possession game. He's been a huge defensive presence, him and Matthias Ekholm. Subban's series has gotten better as he's gone on, and I thought last night he was just as good. Now, he makes some mistakes here and there. He's going to do that, but Subban and Ekholm, that pairing has been quietly probably the better pairing of the Predators so far in this series.
Thank you for the correction. I apologize for that here, Alex Daugherty. That's why we read on the forecheck to get it right. And now let me ask you this. Is Ryan Hartman going to be suspended for tomorrow's game? We've got 30 seconds for you to answer.
I think he will. I think he'll get a game. It's similar to Drew Doughty's hit. He got a game on his hit against William Carrier against the Vegas Golden Knights, and similar hit, or not similar play, but similar result for Morrissey for Winnipeg. They got a game. I think he gets 1 game, and that's it.
Well, I tell you, that might be a way that the Avalanche could get back into the series, but right now the Predators actually tied 4-1 at Vegas as the favorite. It's unlikely. I still do give the Avalanche a slight chance, unlike the Wild or the Flyers, but it looks like real good for the Predators.
Yeah, I think definitely. They're definitely the favorites, and to be honest, Ryan Hartman, I think if he sits the game, that's fine. The Predators have wingers to replace him. They've got Scott Hartnell, Mika Salamanca. They've got guys that can step in and play a similar game. So I wouldn't be worried about him sitting a game and not putting this clinching game on in any kind of danger.
That's why we have you on here. First of all, you get the right player. Second of all, you get the right take. It's Alex Daugherty on the forecheck, Tri-City Sports Now.